Oh my God, do we have a lot to cover today. I got my green on thanks to my wife Mary. Laid it out for me this morning. It's St. Patrick's Day 2014. Do we have a show for you today? First, we dedicate our show this morning to the Romulus Lady Warriors. Why? They just won the state title in Class D. Congratulations to Damon Nicholson, his entire coaching staff, and all of that fantastic team, as the Romulus Lady Warriors did something that is very hard to do. And we got a gentleman on the couch this morning to talk about how hard it is to do. Brian Miller will be with us in a minute. But I want to send out our special kudos from all of us here at FingerLakes1.com to Damon and on the entire team of Romulus. What an outstanding run they had, 25-0. And, of course, winners yesterday, capping off a phenomenal season. I always tell people about Romulus, you drive down there toward Ovid, and if you don't blink, you miss Romulus. It's a quick turn. But I'll tell you something, the community support, I had a chance to check them out the last couple of games. Phenomenal program, and congratulations from all of us on a state title, which is very difficult to do. It's St. Patrick's Day 2014. I hope you're having a good Monday a.m. We're happy to have a good friend of ours join us back in the studio. He's on the couch, Brian Miller. And Brian, thanks a lot for carving out some valuable time of your busy schedule to join us, and it's nice to have you here.
Thanks, Dog. It's great to be here again, and congratulations also to the Romulus girls. And as you said, it's not an easy thing, obviously, to win a state championship and to be undefeated all season long. And
it's amazing.
Everybody gunning for you. So congratulations to that community and then that team and that staff.
It's amazing too. I had a chance to watch a couple of their games the last few weeks. I mean. It's amazing. I don't know how many population of Romulus is. What, 60, 80, 100, 200 people? I don't know.
2,060, I think.
Is it 2,000?
Yeah, 2,000.
Oh, that's amazing. There had to be half of that crowd in the stands. It was rafters only. They were going ballistic. It was great, and I can't say enough good things. So congratulations, Damon, and all the fantastic Lady Warriors. Well, Brian, you've had an outstanding run as a high school basketball coach at the Geneva High Panthers, of course. Talk a little about your season. I know that you had to be thrilled with the way the kids played. It's tough to go all the way, but you certainly made a great run. Spend a few minutes and talk about your team. Give credit to those kids that made it happen for you.
Sure. We had a great group of seniors this year, and we were able to come through the regular season just with a couple losses. Tied for the Finger Lakes East title with Newark. Went into sectionals as the #1 seed. Lucky enough to did a good job. I think scheduling was important for us, non-league wise, to help us to get that first seed. And from there, once you get into the tournament, anything can happen. We played some Rochester City schools along the way to get to the to Blue Cross Arena. Beat a good Northeast Northwest college prep team in overtime. A game that.
Great game.
We weren't playing great to tell you the truth, but we kind of gutted it out. We were down 6, I believe, with like maybe 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes to go, and we really called a timeout. I told the guy we really got to execute now. We've got to really think back to those old practices back in November and really get down to it. And to the credit, guys like Stephen Dolgus, Ray Sims Jr., Terrell Johnson. Trevor DeDuro is kind of an overlooked guy a lot of times. Jack Walwork, Italian Dennis, these are some of my seniors, and primarily seniors. We were talking about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
It's going to be could be some tough sledding here.
The cupboard's a little bare right now.
But we got some young kids, I think, that have seen the success
exactly
the last few years. So hopefully they want to be a part of it, and they know how hard they're going to have to work to maintain. But to win that game and then to get to the final, I think was great. Go back to Blue Cross, and that we really came. That last game was the championship game of Class A2 when we beat Batavia. Everything just came together where we finally got the perimeter game that I think that we've been really looking for all year, and Dolga shot it very well. We continued to share the ball as we have for the last couple of years. It did a great job taking care of it. We only had 3 turnovers in the game.
Phenomenal.
Our defensive game plan that we wanted to execute was they believed in it, and we executed it perfectly, and were able to really shut down a team like Batavia. And then we got in transition a little bit, and they don't give up a lot of points. So for us to be able to score like that and to handle them the way we did, I was very proud of our guys and really happy for them.
Coach, talk about Kia Jackson on Justice Fagan, because Justice Fagan against Newark lit him up, single-handedly defeated Newark in the semis on Tuesday night that you guys defeat Northeast Northwest. He wasn't a factor in the finals, and it's because of Kia Jackson.
Kia is our perimeter defender. He is a lockdown defender, and we knew going into that game that was going to be his matchup. He takes pride in that. And really trying to guard and hold the other team's best perimeter guy down. And he did an incredible job on Justice. And Justice is a great player. Justice is going to Medaille next year to play for my good friend Mike McDonald at Medaille College out in Buffalo. And but Kia did a great job. But a lot of time it was really a team effort because we knew they had two very good scorers. Jeff, the kid Red Band being the other one, about 6'7" kid on the perimeter, and we threw Junior on him. And Junior's big enough where I think Red Band saw some smaller guys during the course of the year. They saw a lot of triangling too and things like that. We weren't going to do any gimmicky defenses like that because we don't practice that and we wouldn't be good at this. So we played our man-to-man with a lot of help off of their other two or three guys. And but Akia was outstanding. I thought Akia could have been. I mean, you could have really picked a name out of the hat for MVP. Of the A2 sectionals. Yep. Steven ended up winning it, but it could have been Akia very easily also.
Big semifinal game.
Yeah, he had big game scoring, kept us in that semifinal game. But again did it good. And then even in the state qualifier game against East High, he had to cover Dante Carruthers, and that's not easy to do. But he really did a very good job in that game too. We used our zone a little bit more in that game than we did against Batavia. But we played some man and we mixed it up, and we had a chance to win that too. And I was telling you guys earlier, I watched East High lose the state final game yesterday to Scotia Glenville's undefeated Class A team, outstanding team. But I'm watching that game, and the whole time I'm thinking we were right in that East game too. We had a chance to win that. We're up 1 at halftime. We're down 4 with 4 to play, and we were right there. And we didn't play very good in that game. If we had played like we played against Batavia, against East, I think you're sitting there. We could have played yesterday. Who knows? So, but it was a great season, and you take a little bit of time, you sit back and you look at it and you realize what a really great run this group of seniors, and even last year's team, which I tell everyone, I think last year's team may have been better than this year's team. It's just that it's a lot of times matchups. It's where you're placed. Right. And as we're throwing up, we went 0 for 15 against East from 3. 0 for 15. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, if Shane Sweeney's here, we'd bury East. We would have buried East, because he's gonna stretch the defense and allow our big guys to maneuver inside. But as it was, East did what we like to do against some teams. They just kind of packed it in and said fire away, and unfortunately we missed some shots in that game. But it was a great run, and this group, as I said, is 38-5 the last 2 years. 38-2 against public schools. I always say, we lost 3 to Aquinas in the last 2 years, and they're off the schedule now. And once you talk about rebuilding, once we get it going again, I'll make sure to call Coach Grossedonia and get Aquinas back on because we have a little unfinished business there.
Yes. Brian Miller's our special guest. We got lots to talk about, Brian. We're going to run down. By the way, he's a humble guy. He just got given the honor of being Finger Lakes East Coach of the Year for his outstanding work. And we're also, before we take a break, let's run down who got high school boys basketball. Kudos from the Finger Lakes Times. Of course, you mentioned, Brian, you're going to be taking Terrell Johnson. He's a member of the Ronald McDonald All-Star team. Certainly richly deserved.
Absolutely. Terrell's a great player. He's kind of the silent guy in our group. Doesn't say a lot, but he protects the rim for us, guards in the post.
Attacks the rim with some incredible dunks at the Blue Cross Arena.
I always see you guys doing the webcast, and Finger Lakes One does a great job with all that, and with the Thursday night podcast and stuff like that. And I know you guys are talking about all these dunks and everything. And I said I couldn't wait for you guys to see Terrell get one because he gets at least one. And I swear his last 6 or 7 games he's had at least one a game. Some really good ones. Against Monroe. Our first sectional game, we had a Kia Jackson had one of his breaks. He was coming down like by himself, and normally he just goes and lays it in. Yeah. Well, he looked over his shoulder, and Terrell was just sprinting down the court. So it was like almost a 2-on-0. So Kia stopped and threw it up in the air, and Terrell came with a windmill that was unbelievable. I wish you had that one on Finger Lakes One. You'd be playing that one forever. But he had a great one against Northeast Northwest.
Right in somebody's face.
Yeah, we had a little set play against zones against Batavia. He caught an alley-oop. Very nicely executed, a great throw, great pass on that one. But Terrell can. He's a high riser for sure. So hopefully he'll be able to do a little bit of that in this Ronald McDonald game too.
That's right.
So people can see some of that.
Another outstanding athlete, not from Geneva, from Newark, Micah Wright, who needs no introduction. Outstanding player, playing with the Ronald McDonald team on the east side. Outstanding year. Other Geneva individuals that got honored by the Times, of course, Terrell Johnson, first team. Congratulations to Terrell. Also, the likes of Junior Sims, need no introduction, an outstanding player himself. Second team honors for Geneva went, as we mentioned, Akia Jackson. Congratulations to Akia, and of course, honorable mention, Steve Dogas, who had a phenomenal season in my mind. I love the way he plays.
Yep.
And when he's hot, he's hot.
And he shot it a little bit better last year. He'll be the first one to tell you that. But this year he had a different role. He had to handle the ball. He had to get us into offense. He became a point guard. He's more of a combination guard. I don't think he's a true point guard, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But he did what he had to do for us. And
that's right.
He always had that in him. He's a good shooter. And I was just so happy for him to see him come through on the biggest stage, really, in the sectional final.
And, with Dogas, how many games this year did he close out for you guys at the free throw line?
Yep.
He was the guy that you put the ball in his hand at the end of the game, they fouled him, he buried the free throws, you win the game.
And that's leadership and his being a senior and last chance, that type of stuff. And I felt very comfortable when we played some close games, when he had the ball in his hands. I knew that the other team was trying to foul. I feel very comfortable with him going to the line.
I can, disclaimers, Brian sees myself and my wife up in Geneva a lot, and the reason is my granddaughter he's a sophomore, and she's a varsity cheerleader, so kudos to the cheerleading team as well. They had an outstanding season. They won sectionals.
They did.
And I have a chance to watch a lot of Geneva basketball this year, and it was quite the thrill for me and my wife, Mary, who were up there quite often, and we enjoyed every one. Hey, folks, guess what? It's March Madness. Are you excited? I am. Brian Miller is, and Jim Senacropius. We'll turn the attention, get Brian's views on March Madness 2014. Who's going to be standing last at Arlington, Texas? We'll come back after we take our commercial break here on St. Patrick's Day. Eagle Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Steve Muller Motors, smullermotors.com. Quality, affordable vehicles, both foreign and domestic. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo, best mott sticks around where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. That'd be number 16. Wilson Press, wpress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog with you, H. Weber, with another edition of Weber This Week. Our good friend Brian Miller for Geneva High basketball, boys basketball coach, and phenomenal seasons joining us for the show. And it's hard to believe we've blown 50 minutes of show already, and we're just getting into it. Happy St. Patrick's Day from all of us to all of you. And a reminder, I always remind you, because I'm old, I'll be 69 in a couple months, don't be stupid today. If you're going to go out and have a couple of nice Irish pints, get a DD, because there's cops everywhere today. I work part-time at the Thruway. I can tell you they're out in masses today. They're behind buildings, underneath the ground. They're going to get you, baby, so be careful. If you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, be careful. I'd hate to have you get picked up. So That's my Weber sermon for you this morning. All right, let's talk about, first off, March Madness. Brian and Jimmy, there's nothing quite like it. We've only got 15 minutes left in our show, but Brian, your thoughts on the 4 number 1 seeds? Did you believe that the Virginias, the Arizona, and of course Wichita State and let's see, Florida, were they in your mind the worthy ones that you felt might get it?
I think that committee has a lot of data that they look at.
Oh, they have data, yeah.
And I think that they do as well as they can placing those seeds. I think I'm not really sold on Virginia yet, although I know they won the ACC tournament.
Right.
We were talking a little bit earlier. They have an unbalanced schedule in that league, and they didn't play all the top teams twice.
Right.
So I'm not really sure on Virginia. But you know what? 1 through 4 seeds, you can really. I mean, they're very similar. If you talk about Louisville being a 4th seed, I mean, who's playing better than Louisville right now?
A lot of people were complaining about that on ESPN yesterday. Yeah.
My good friend John Beeline out at Michigan is a 2. I was hoping that they had won. If they had beaten Michigan State yesterday, I thought that they may have taken that seed from Virginia. They may have been a 1 instead of Virginia. But they're on the 2 line right now, and. But, there's some great teams. I think overall, looking at the tournament, I really haven't delved into it that closely yet. I think that there's been so many of the so-called the old mid-majors, we used to call them, those schools that weren't in the power conferences, although the conferences now, I can't even figure out where everyone is anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But I think you see teams like, it started really with George Mason, and then the Butlers, getting to the Final Fours, and then last year Wichita State.
Right.
I think it's almost time for one of those teams to win it all.
Sure.
One of those, and the team I like right now is Creighton.
Sure.
I think they have an incredible player in Doug McDermott, and coach's son, who's one of the greatest scorers in the history of college basketball.
3,000 points.
Yeah, he's 5th all time in scoring in career. And he would have went to the NBA after last year, but the only reason he stayed is because they moved to the Big East. So he wanted to prove himself against better competition than the Missouri Valley where they used to be in.
And he did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's averaging 27 points a game for the year. He's averaging about 33 points his last 5 games. He's an incredible scorer. And if they get a little bit from the other folks and they're senior laden, I think Creighton, all right, is the team that the team that I like to win it all this year.
Well, of course, Jimmy Boeheim, of course, Syracuse Orangemen are going to be playing in Buffalo. For the SU fans, that's okay because they can drive down to Buffalo and check out their action. They tip it off on Thursday at 2:45 against Western Michigan. Brian, capsule comment about Syracuse. In my view, I've been saying it every week now. I get a little nervous with Keita and Christmas not doing a lot of offensive output for that team. And if Cooney, who's had a struggle for the three-point efforts, if he struggles and they don't get the offensive inside game with points, I know they're big and they're stalwarts defensively, but as you know, you need points. And I get nervous when those guys aren't scoring. And if Cooney, who's been in a really downslide with his three-point efforts, how do you look at SU and what do you think their chances are to move on?
I think a lot of it is, and really with everyone in the tournament, it's matchups, is who you're facing.
Exactly.
Syracuse, obviously, defensively is great in that zone. Is impossible for teams that don't play them a lot to duplicate in practice. There's no way for teams to really simulate that.
Okay.
So it's a lot of it's going to be matchups with them. But I think you're right on, Dog, that they're going to need to find some scoring.
Yeah,
I mean, their games are going to be in the 50s, high 50s. Even the mid 50s, and so they're going to need Ennis. I'm always leery of, and I think Ennis is great, and Wiggins out at Kansas is great.
Right.
Kentucky has all these great one and done. I'm always leery of teams with freshmen that play huge roles in the NCAA tournament. That's why I think you'll see a team like Kansas go out early. Wiggins is great, but he's a freshman. And that's why I'm talking about Creighton with their senior team. Wichita State, everyone's like, Wichita State, who have they played? And yet they've beaten everyone they've played.
Exactly.
And they have seniors, and they were in the Final Four last year.
Right.
So I think some people will say, Wichita State's not that good. They're gonna, once they play one of those bigger schools, they'll get knocked off. They might be playing Kentucky in round 2, right? I think so.
Yeah.
So I mean they, but Syracuse. Again, they can get hot too. So if Cooney comes and shoots the ball like he did earlier in the year, and they're able to, Fair is obviously a great player. And they get a little production from their center spot.
The big guy,
I think that and Grant, he's okay now. I know he had missed some time.
Looks like he's back.
it's the NCAA tournament. That's why it's great, and they can make a run just like anybody else. So,
and by the way, for you Las Vegas fans that love to follow this stuff, they have Syracuse 15-1 to win the title. 15-1. So if you're out in Vegas where it's legal, I'm not urging you to gamble, but if you're out in Vegas where it is legal, throw a $100 bill on there and pray. SU 15-1 to win the title. I think the tournament's going to be phenomenal. I know that my wife's upset because she loses the Young and Restless soap opera on CBS for the next couple of weeks, and I know that Thursday and Friday she won't be able to watch. And of course, I have to laugh at her because I watch it sometimes too. How stupid I am, but it's going to be funny. I'm looking forward to it because there's nothing quite like March Madness, and I just love the way the games evolve. And as you know, Brian, and Jimmy certainly knows, after that first set of games, there's teams that get kicked out, and you say, how'd they ever lose? It's the NCAAs.
Well, a lot of people think that Thursday and Friday are the best days of the sporting year.
I agree.
And it's even better that it's in Buffalo this year because I was lucky enough to be able to know some folks still back there, and I'm able to go to those games, and you get the feeling and the atmosphere in the arena is unbelievable. And it's even more so than some people like to sit on TV because you can watch and see every single game. But to me personally, just being there, just being a part of it, seeing it, even though I have no real rooting interest with any of the teams that are there.
You got to root for the Qs. Come on.
Well, maybe a little bit. All right? Maybe a little bit. I know just for you, Jim, because I know how much you guys love the orange. But as a guy that used to try to coach at Canisius a little bit and try to recruit against the orange, I knew whenever they did the home visit, when Boeheim ever came in, we were done. Like we tried to recruit Damone Brown out above. I'll never forget this. We thought we had a good shot. We were on him, and he liked us. And all of a sudden, the summer before his senior year, he blew up at some of these AAU tournaments. Next thing I hear is, Boeheim's doing a home visit. We just threw the file out the door. It's over with. There's no way we're getting him. But we played, actually, my last year at Canisius, we played at, or one of my years at Canisius, we played at the Dome Carmelo's year.
Right.
And actually had a good game. We played. It was pretty close until he decided he wanted to play the last 10 minutes or so, and then it was over with at that point. But so I got a little bit of orange blood, kind of rooting against him a little bit. But for you Jimmy, I think on Thursday I'll probably root for them a little bit.
Just for the next few weeks.
Yeah, okay,
Brian,
that's it. Yeah.
Let me ask you something about it. You've been involved in coaching. You know a lot of the colleges, and you know the coaching lineups. Syracuse had written a letter years ago giving Hopkins next in for the job. Mm-hmm. If you were Mike Hopkins, would you continue to stay there, or would you be looking to expand your wings and go somewhere?
You know what?
Be a head coach.
I think he probably likes it right there. He played there, right? I mean, he's from there. He's probably getting paid pretty good.
Oh, sure.
Likes it right there. He doesn't get criticized when they lose.
Family's there.
Family's there.
Good point.
I think he's in a pretty good spot. You know. And here's what I found in my experience anyway. A job that he could, probably a mid-major type job is the type of programs that would be looking for him. But he coaches at Syracuse now. He has the Carrier Dome. He has Jim Boeheim. Yeah. He has ESPN. Take those assistant coaches, those hot assistant coaches, put them in a mid-major, put them in a MAC school where you don't have the facilities, you don't have the TV exposure.
Right.
And he's used to being able to walk in the front door of any recruit he wants to because he coaches at Syracuse. Well, those doors don't open for Western Michigan and for Canisius and for Niagara. So a lot of times you see the successful mid-major coaches come from lower level of Division I, or head coaches at Division II even. Yeah, that some of the I'm telling you, I've coached at different levels, and some of the best coaches that I know coach at the high school level. Yeah, and you don't have to be at those big huge programs to understand and know how to coach. And so I think what he's doing right now, and he's doing a great. He should stay right there, and if he's the next in line, God bless him. Yep. Sometimes it's hard to take over for the guy who's been the man for so long.
Oh, sure.
You almost want to be the guy that takes over for the guy who took over for the guy.
Yeah, after he fails a couple years in.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but he's doing very well for himself right now.
Now Hopkins turned down a job at St. Bonaventure, turned down a job at UNC Charlotte, was willing to take the job at USC, didn't get it, and he hired an agent before the season. So I have a feeling that this might be it for him.
Think so? Yeah.
And then you like to think that, well, he'll come back when this ever opens. But I really think that 3, 4, 5 years ago, people were saying, well, Boeheim's done another year or two. Boeheim might be there for another decade.
He doesn't look like he's slowing down to me at all.
No, I think he likes this new ACC business. Yeah. It's a change, and I think he wants to experience that for a while.
That $2 or $3 million a year he's making can't be enough because he's pushing Nissan cars. I see on the commercial side.
He probably wants to go to coaching an entire game at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
That's true.
That's right.
All right, he missed a little bit of that last one.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great shot.
Hey, you want my take on Syracuse?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, we got Western Michigan. Yep. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and heads down and hope that we win that game. And then we got Ohio State, who is not a very good team this year. They're not a very good perimeter
not
team.
Even close.
I'm not really excited about the matchup just because they knocked us out of the tournament 2 years ago, and you'd like to see some different teams maybe in the NCAA tournament. But people got to remember, this team knows how to win games, and they're 25-0.
Right.
Then they lose that BC game, which Keita was hurt.
Right.
Then they come back to the Duke game. They could have win. I think they win that game, but they get a bum call at the end. But the ball went in the basket, and I kind of think I feel like the players won that game, even though it was their second straight loss. But then Grant was out. Thank goodness we beat Maryland at Maryland without him. But he's a key part of our team.
Oh, Grant's a player. Yeah.
So finally now, heading into this ACC tournament, that Florida State game, everybody's back and healthy. They look great against Florida State. And so I'm like, okay, well, as long as everybody's healthy, nobody can beat us.
Bingo.
And then NC State, we lay an egg.
Amazing.
And but that game, CJ Fair just couldn't make a shot. And I don't see that very often. So I think that we are ready to go. We need Trevor Cooney to bury some shots. He doesn't need to go
not every one of them, just
9.
a few.
Yeah,
just
go
a few.
3 for 6, 3 for 7 even. Maybe I'd be happy. But Grant's phenomenal. CJ Fair is not going to have a shooting night like he did against NC State. Confidence in Tyler Ennis. And I'd like to see somebody beat us. We're tough out. We are tough out for any team in this whole bracket that comes up against us if we want to play defense and we can make. We don't got to shoot the lights out. We just got to have an average shooting night. Nobody will beat us.
All right, so Jimbo's got the orange.
I got him penciled in, national champs.
All right. And you like Creighton, right?
I like Creighton. Michigan State, I hate to say it as a Michigan fan, but I think Michigan State now is finally healthy, and they just dismantled the Wolverines yesterday, and I think Michigan State to go pretty far also.
Well, I'm going with the Gators of Florida. I've watched them quite a bit the last few weeks. They look getting better and better. They look tough. I mean, they just got a perimeter game. They got the outside game. They just seem to have it clicking in all cylinders. I like Florida.
With a Hobart alumni as their athletic director.
There you go.
Yeah, how about that?
There you go. So I'm picking Florida to win it all.
Hey, Doug.
Brian's picking a dark horse in Creighton, and Jimmy is picking, I would say a semi-dark horse in the orange.
Come on.
Semi-dark horse.
Dark horse.
All right. I will say one of the favorites.
There you go. I have, last night we did a little Selection Sunday show up here in the studio.
Sure.
Dave Barnett, Kevin Korzaneski, Zach Young, Matt Verkey, Brad Connor. I think I named everybody. And so we all picked our Final Four teams. And just to give you an idea, if you're filling out your brackets here, in the West, 3 of us picked Arizona to go to the Final Four. 1 San Diego State, 1 Creighton, and 1 Wisconsin.
Okay.
In the East, 5 people took Michigan State. 1 chose Virginia, the 1 seed. And then in the South, 3 Florida, 2 Syracuse, and 1 Kansas. And then in the Midwest, 2 Wichita State, 3 Louisville, and 1 Michigan. National champion picks were 2 people like Michigan State, 2 people like Louisville, 1 Syracuse, 1 Kansas, 1 Florida.
Who was that one for Syracuse? Was that Jim Sonacropi?
may or may not have been. Whoever it was, he really knows college basketball.
There you go.
I never denied that. Hey, folks, we're running out of time. Let me give you a recap of where we're going with this show now. Brian's been nice enough to sit in for 30 minutes. We could have been here for an hour and a half talking basketball. But next week, a couple of his buddies are going to be sitting on the couch. We got 2 coming in from my hometown, Lions, New York. Eric Kuhn, who did a fantastic job of the Lions girls varsity program. He'll be joining the boys varsity coach, a gentleman that Brian and we all know very well, Zach Young. Zach Young and Eric Kuhn will be here next week for the Weber Show. And, of course, airtime as obviously at 9:30, so we hope that you'll join us. And then the following week, we have a young man from Waterloo who Jimmy asked me, who is this guy? Mike O'Brien is a walking legend, Jim. He's a politician, he's a sports fanatic, and he cuts hair for a living. And years ago, when I did Weber on Sports for WSFW, when I would vacation, Brian, I would invite chief of police, fire department chiefs, people to come in and do my show while I was vacationing, and I invited Mike O'Brien way back when, 25 years ago, to do my show. He did a good job. He's got a lot to talk about. He's got an opinion on every topic in the world, so he'll be here on the 31st of March. You don't want to miss that show. He's hilarious. By the way, Jim, upcoming shows, Brad Jones and his son Greg have put together that fitness center in Lockport, New York.
Right.
We're working to try to get a date for him. I think the only thing that's holding up for them coming on is Brad's trying to save up enough money to buy a gallon of paint so he can paint some of the facility before he sends you the disc with the pictures of the facility. So I've got to pick on our buddy Brad. Also, we got a letter from an email over the weekend from a young lady named Megan Allen. She's a sophomore at St. John Fisher. She's a dirt racer.
Yeah, local sprint car.
Sprint car racer. 110 miles an hour on the dirt. 20-year-old Megan Allen, who's from Seneca Falls. She performs her racing now in Pennsylvania, New York, and, of course, she's in Florida, given us godforsaken weather we've had. She'll be in sometime in May, so if you'd like to come on the show, talk about any sport you would like, we would love to have you. Just give us a call, and we'll be more than glad to check our schedule and book a date for you to come on Weber this week, as, again, we always want you to come in. The carpet is always red for you, so if you'd like to come in, please join us here on this show. And, Brian, thanks again for taking time out. I know that you would like to finish your comments, I'm sure, by saying kudos to that basketball program of yours. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I know the cupboard's going bare with a lot of seniors graduating, but that's a good thing. They're getting out of school and moving on to their lives.
Absolutely, and that's the most important thing, and we try to teach not only basketball and have some fun along the way, but life lessons, and hopefully they'll remember the experience.
And I'd like to congratulate you personally from all the FL1 sports team cover in Geneva for the past 2 years. Great to see you get a sectional title. Great for the city of Geneva.
Exactly.
It was a great season, a great postseason, and certainly a great outcome for you, your kids, and the city of Geneva, which I think it was 1999. When was the last time?
That was the last one, yeah.
The last sectional title was 99,
That's
so
awesome.
it's special.
15, yep.
To get it, especially Geneva in a bigger city playing in bigger classes. So great job.
Thank you.
Well, I'm
Appreciate it.
sure that maybe a lot of seniors are graduating, but Brian will do a fantastic job to get whatever he's got to play hard and for that city of Geneva. So, and by the way, as we wrap up our show and say goodbye to you on a Monday, St. Patrick's Day, we wish you a great holiday. Again, be careful on the roads today and don't get stupid at bars. And by the way, we leave by saying congratulations once again to Damon Nicholson, his entire coaching staff, and that fantastic Romulus Lady Warrior team for winning the state title yesterday at Hudson Valley. Congratulations, Romulus. You deserve it. You go, girls. You did a great job. Speaking for Brian Miller and Jim Senecrope, I'm the Dog H. Weber. We'll catch you next week for another edition of Weber This Week, my way.